following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Hey everyone, and welcome to 50 Shades of Bullshit. I'm your host, Christine Lalonde, and this is the podcast where we uncover the truth about online dating. Now let's begin. Hey everyone, I'm Christine.
I'm Jaida.
And this is 50 Shades of Bullshit. Yay, welcome back another week.
Welcome back. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Another week.
Another week.
End of the month again. The months are like,
it's like it is February freaking 20th, girl. How in the world did 2 months of 2025 already fly by? Like
I
what?
have no idea.
We have 10 months till the end of the year again?
Yeah.
Why is shit speeding up? That's all I gotta ask is like, what is happening?
How has your week been?
Crazy. So, for a while, all I've really been doing is going to work, coming home, crawling into bed, watching the shows that we talk about, go to sleep, go to work, come home, crawl into bed, watch TV shows. That's all I've been doing for a while. And I decided, shit needs to change. I need to get on the things I've been saying I'm going to do. I'm going to really focus. Girl, I have been so focused.
Tell me about it.
I'm almost done with the business plan for my cannabis company.
I love it.
I have meetings set up for the TV show that I want to combine to connect to the cannabis show. To my cannabis company for Vegas. I have almost I'm maybe a chapter or two away from finishing my advice book for my DIY brides. So it's professional advice for the DIY bride. I've been working on that for 5 years. And I've decided it's time to restructure it, take a look at it, and finish it. And I'm almost done.
Yay!
And I started another one. So I can't just work on one and finish it. My brain doesn't work that way. I have to have several things that I bounce back and forth between because that's what gets the juices flowing. Mm-hmm. So I'll be working on one and then I'll get a thought for the other one and I have to close that one down, save it up, bring up the next one, put in my thoughts for that and do that between the three. So my second book that I'm writing right now, and I might be done. I think I had to add a couple more personal thoughts. I have to revisit it. But it's called, what did I call it? Sorry, I was so crazy. It is, well, crap. I don't remember. Hold on. I get so excited about things I forget. How to survive a narcissistic divorce.
Oh, that is a good one.
I'm almost done. It's not going to be very big. It's going to be kind of like, I think they call it a punch book. It's probably only going to be maybe 100, 125, 150 pages. But it's solid advice on what to do when you're in that type of relationship and you're leaving it, how to cope, how to deal, what are signs to think about and to keep your eye out for.
Misty said, how do you find time to do all of that?
At night. I don't, I'll be honest. I'm going to put this out there. Hopefully Dean is not listening to this episode, but She doesn't. Let me think. So when I go to work during the day and I help the woman who has long COVID that um th- sometimes I don't always have something to do there. And
Mm,
so during that time while I'm kind of like I'm all caught up and I'm just waiting, like another half hour, 40 minutes for me to make lunch, I'll quickly open up one of my folders and put down a bunch of thoughts, and then once I've got that structure, I'll close it up, go finish work. And then when I come home and I don't have the podcast, then instead of just climbing into bed and watching TV, I do put the TV on because I need that extra sound. And I sit in bed so I feel like I'm still doing the same thing, like I'm not. And then I'll start working on each chapter. And I've just been focusing on that for like a month and a half, 2 months. And when you focus like that, shit gets done.
it gets done, girl. That's
So,
so
yeah,
exciting. I've been toying with the idea of writing a book as well. I've been thinking about doing it for years, but there's so many matchmaking books and matchmakers, and there's I don't
this is
know,
the
but I've
thing,
thought
Jada.
about it.
There is the company that I went to this book writing seminar about how to get your book started, what to do, how to self-publish, stuff like that. And one of the things that really stuck with me is the guy said that when you go to write a book, you're not going to write a book about something nobody else has written about
Mm,
because there's no market for it.
right.
What you want to do is write about things that are highly popular, like matchmaking, event planning, divorces, things like that. Children's books. I'm working on my children's book too. I've kind of put a hold on that only because I've kind of drained myself with the
Yeah.
other ones. I want to get them done, then I'll go back to the children's. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of time during the day, and I figured instead of feeling like I'm bored, I'll just start, doing it. Mickey said, hold on, let me get to that. Mickey is so fast. Where do you find the time? Oh, we got that one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What was the type of book you mentioned? And you should tell about the process and how to do it.
Oh,
I'm happy to do that. Couple that I'm writing, Mickey, the first one is I've been a professional event planner for 24
for a long time.
years. Okay. And I've won awards and I've worked with several different companies, and my company was highly successful before COVID. So I'm writing a book about the professional advice from an event planner to the DIY bride, the do it yourself bride, because they do it wrong.
Mhm.
And a lot of event planners don't want to tell people how to do it properly. I figured it's better to tell people how to do it properly so they're not screwing it up for when they do book
Yeah,
vendors.
yeah.
The other one is, what did I say it was? How to survive
Narciss-
a narcissistic divorce. So, yeah. So I know lots about that one.
that is probably going to be so freeing once it's done.
Yeah, tell me about it. So, what got me on that track was about a month ago. I was talking to a photographer who is one of my vendors for a wedding, and she told me that her and her husband are getting a divorce. And I was like, oh, damn it. And then, because I love them, but she's like, this is happening, that is happening. And I kept thinking, oh my God, that's the same shit that was happening to me when I was going through my separation and divorce. So I just started saying, hey, listen, these are some of the things that you need to keep in mind that you cannot let happen. It's certain things that has to do with your kids. It's, what do you ask for? That you're going to have to keep in mind for the next, 15, 10 to 15 years while you're getting a divorce with kids. And then I thought, what am I doing? I should just write all this shit down and write a book. So I did. So
Nice. Well,
I sent
congratulations.
him. Thank you. I sent a message. What is a punch book? Is that the right term? Yeah, a punch book is a shorter book. It's not like 100 to 500 pages, it's like under a certain amount of pages. I think it's under 150 or 125. I'll have to look because I can't remember off the top of my head. And it's a punch book. It gives you advice or helps you with the problem. And
Are you
so-
you're self-publishing?
well, I did reach out to Phil today,
Oh,
and
nice.
and I said, "Hey, Phil, when you self-published your book, what are some of the things that you can suggest to me that I keep in mind?" But there is a publicist that is a friend of mine who is also an event planner. And when I had told her a couple of years ago when I started the book that I was doing it, she said she had a publisher for me. So I'm going to
Nice.
check that route and check my self-publishing route because,
Nice.
might as well get it out there.
Get
And
it out
then
there.
I can send it to publishers if I want to.
Yep. I love it. Busy
Yeah.
bee.
Yeah.
Always,
So what have you
always.
been up to this week? Anything
Well,
fun?
No, I just came from the gym. I'm on this health journey.
Yeah.
I always forget. I'm like, oh my gosh, that I have to rush to make sure I'm like sitting here and ready. But just working out, client stuff, trying to coordinate a couple of events for the spring.
I love it.
Mixers and singles events. I'm also thinking to do a retreat. I think I told you this before. So I'm working on trying to figure out the logistics of that. So it's been busy, but busy is good. Busy is good.
I love that. I love it. So for those of you who are listening, I'm going to tell Jaida too. I talked to the producer for the K4HD radio and Talk 4 TV about doing a second podcast. And I'm hoping I can either do it the hour before this or the hour after this because I don't want to be dividing my days up because it's hard enough getting everything in. But the second podcast, I think I'm going to venture into the mystical. And Charles said you need to put it on audiobook as well. I will. Yes, thank you. I think that's a great idea. I'm thinking about doing tarot reads, bringing on mystical guests, talking about witchcraft, talking about manifesting, and I'm trying to come up with a name. I'm thinking of using the same kind of name that I was using for my manifesting stuff, and I was thinking about using Manifesta. Manifest the alchemy of healing. I was thinking of using alchemy of healing. I don't know. I have to think about it. But Dean is really excited. He said that he used to have a show on this platform just like that. And the person passed away. And he said it was one of the most successful shows he's ever had. So
I think
I'm considering it.
Yeah. And you're so, you've gone to conferences, you do readings all the time. You're so tuned in.
Maybe
in that sense, and you're huge at manifesting and rituals. I think it's good.
Well, I bought the website Magic Camp for Witches, and I've been thinking about starting a retreat at different places around the country, the world, and doing camps like retreats, like sleepaway retreat camps for people of the mystical world. And so I'm thinking about doing that. And I just started, I'm the salesperson for the sponsorships for a company called the Goddess Festivals up in what is it called? Yosemite.
Nice.
So, yeah. Guy Pierce said, "Give me a live reading, LOL." Okay, Guy. Me talking out my ass is pretty much a live reading. Yeah, I'd be happy to give you a reading. Let's do it sometime. So today, by the way, have you been watching the new Love is Blind or the new Bachelor?
I've watched the new Bachelor, but I'm only on episode 3 of the new Bachelor. Love is Blind. I couldn't get through the second episode. It just wasn't.
Of the new one, or the old one we couldn't do?
No, the one where I think they're in Minnesota. This one.
See if you can get to the third episode, because it starts to get a little bit better. But
okay, because it was a snoozer.
Bachelor.
Yes, that Bachelor.
That Bachelor is some put together. I really hope that he is who they are showing him to be, because he is special. Yeah. I think that he is really solid in his communication. His skills are just, wow, he's amazing.
He's sharp. He's a very sharp guy.
Sharp. Yeah. Hot and handsome. Woo!
Very hot and handsome. So. And very together for, I mean, what is he, 30? I think he's 30 or 31 years old.
I know. That's wild. So today's episode, we are at 170.
Oh my gosh.
How wild is that? Over 3 years, 170 episodes. I'm excited, once a week. So today we're going to talk about people who are emotionally immature. I saw this article that said that these people use 12 phrases often. So here's a guide for people who are curious to what emotional immaturity means. So there are these two communication experts, Kathy and Ross Petrus, and they started out their article with, we all have dealt with emotionally immature people. They get defensive at the slightest criticism. They constantly deflect blame, and then they try to guilt you into feeling sorry for them. Emotionally Maturity is a growing problem, and whether it's in your personal or professional life, communication can be a real struggle. So I thought today that you and I, Jaida, could just go through these. And as a professional matchmaker and dating coach, I figured you would have some great advice for some of these and your thoughts on them.
Okay.
So number one, quote, "It's not my fault." How many times have y'all heard in a fight, "It's not my fault"? It's something that they refuse to take responsibility for. People who are emotionally immature often don't take responsibility for their own actions when something goes wrong. So what do? They extricate themselves from situations by immediately stating that they are not to blame. So what do you think about emotionally immature? I mean, people who say, it's not my fault.
It's exactly just that. They don't want to take the blame for, and I don't want to say blame, but they don't want to take responsibility for their own behaviors or the actions led to whichever the argument is. But also that can also tiptoe into narcissistic behavior too, because narcissists are always good at placing issues on the other person as opposed to taking the responsibility for themselves. So I think you've got to be very careful with that, but I agree 100%. Definitely, whenever you hear "it's not my fault, it's not my fault, it's not my fault," or "well, I did this, you made me do this because blah 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 blah," that's definitely emotional. And we've talked about that before. We've dealt with people that have had similar behaviors where that's their go-to in terms of answering a problem or conflict you guys have had.
I think that did you just ask me a question, Jaida? My mind was thinking so far in advance that I was like, wait a minute, did I just catch the tail end of a question? My brain.
You know what's so funny? I could see it in your face that you were processing something else. But yes, I did.
What was your question?
Woo, Christine.
Well,
I
today
said, have you been in a situation or relationship where, oh my God, I just lost it. Oh, where you've dealt with someone that has responded to you in that way, like "it's not my fault, it's not my fault."
Yeah, you hear it all the time. I mean, I think that a lot of people, when it comes to work, want to not be the one that gets in trouble. So they're like, it's not my fault.
Yep.
If I, as a boss, if someone says it's not my fault, I think I would almost try to find the person who it was and say, hey, let's talk about how we can fix this. But the person who says it's not my fault seems to be a bigger problem than the one who's like, it actually was mine and I'm sorry. I made a mistake. How can we fix this? How can I do better? And it's the same thing in a relationship, don't you think? Like, take responsibility, step up.
Be accountable for your actions. If you made a mistake, okay, I'm sorry. I did XYZ. I'm sorry I made you feel this way. Blah, 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 you know.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Number 2, this is a great one. This one was in my relationship with my ex-husband a lot. Okay. Almost all of these are, because unfortunately, writing a book about surviving a narcissistic divorce kind of gave you a clue. Yeah. If you hadn't done that, it wouldn't have happened. So blaming others for the problems, an emotionally immature person will do everything in their power not to take responsibility for their actions. And a common tactic is to make it seem like you or literally anybody else is at wrong. I would hear a lot okay, I'm going to give you a little insider.
We're ready.
Here's an example. When I was married, everybody knows who's listened to the show. I have a high sex drive. Always have, always will. And I would always initiate at night when we go to bed. And he was a 20-minuter. He was a 20-minuter in the bathroom reading his magazines or books or whatever it was. Every nightly constitution is what he would say. So when he would come to bed, I would initiate, blah, blah, blah. Well, I got tired of initiating. I thought, is this fool never going to initiate with me? So I'm just like, sorry, guy, I'm in the middle of the story, so I'm not going to read off all your stuff right now. So sorry, guy. What happened was I decided I was going to just let him be the man, let him step it up, let him initiate sex for us. And it wasn't happening. Quite a bit. Wasn't happening. So finally I said, hey, are you going to ever take initiative? Are you not attracted to me anymore? Because you seem to be fine having sex with me, but you're not initiating. You're not being the aggressor. You're not being like, the aggressor in the side of the relationship. And he would say, well, I was going to until you said that. So it's the same kind of thing. If you hadn't done that, it would have happened or it wouldn't have happened. Those are pass the buck, blame the person.
Absolutely. It's the same as it's not my fault. It's not taking accountability. They're saying, well, I would have done this, but you did this, which made me do this. So essentially it's your fault.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, that's interesting.
What about you, Jaida? Have you had that instance where someone said that to you?
Well, I mean, in my marriage, I know I've talked about my ex-husband quite a bit. I try not to, not that he would ever listen to this, but he was very much the same way in terms of, well, if you wouldn't have done this, I wouldn't have done that. Nothing was ever his fault. There was no accountability for anything. But I recognize that now in current relationships, no, I don't stand for that. It's enough.
So, a lot of times when people are like that, we tend to overlook it because we feel it gets us where they want it to get us. And that is, oh my God, I did something and it created this situation. That's just never okay.
If you don't have enough, not necessarily confidence in your relationship, but if you've been emotionally abused for a long time as well, then you're gonna feel like, oh my gosh, it is my fault. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, or maybe I shouldn't have done that. But that all ties back to narcissism too, because that's kind of what they do.
So good. Yep. Number 3, I don't need to explain myself to you. That's a horrible thing to say to anybody.
Have you
But
ever
you
said
can
that in dating? Have you ever said in dating or relationships, I don't have to explain myself to you?
No. Have you?
I'm thinking about it. I don't think I have. No.
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 A lot of people want to avoid accountability. So you can just imagine a little kid saying this one, like, I don't need to explain myself
Yeah.
to you. This phrase is a way for them to avoid true accountability or genuine communication with the person that they're engaging with. I think that it's a really shitty way of saying, I don't care enough about you to have communication to explain how I feel or what I'm doing, or, vice versa. Oh my God. Guy says that's somewhat true. Oh my God. Okay, let's move that down.
Oh,
He's just talking about how he likes to initiate, and, sometimes it doesn't always happen. Okay. So that was a little. I'm gonna wait on that guy. I'll read it later. This is a great one. I think a lot of men tend to use this one. I'm not sure. I've heard a lot of women use this. I could be wrong, but it is a combination of gaslighting.
yes.
And it's called, here's the quote, "You're overreacting." So trying to make others feel a false reality, like shifting the blame. The message that they're sending is that you're the problem and it's not them. And it's just another toxic phrase in the vein of you're being too sensitive or you're overreacting. Oh, nope, I'm wrong. I have said you're being too sensitive.
You've said that?
I have. I'm guilty. I said it to one guy. I'm sorry, Hugh. If you ever listen to this, I'm sorry, Hugh. I was a total.
In that instance, though, like what was happening that caused you? If you feel like sharing.
Yeah. Okay. So we all know I own businesses. A lot of the people I know like to work for me. This is a guy that I dated a few years ago. He's so handsome, so cool, and he had the most sexiest Irish accent. He was perfect. He really was perfect. He had some issues. I will not go into that. It's his own issues that I'm sure he's probably dealt with by now. Hopefully, fingers crossed, because he's incredible. The thing about it is that he worked for me. And when I'm working, I'm not thinking about what the relationship is between me and the person that's working with me. Okay. I tend to say very quickly, hey, this needs to be done. Let's do this. Let's go. I'm on a timeline. I'm on a time crunch. If you're going to work for me as lighting or work for me as a server, you got to snap too. And if you're not focusing or paying attention and you're going too slow, I am going to say, hey, let's pick it up. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So I tend to be kind of short in my deliverance. It's not that I'm trying to be rude or mean or a nasty bitch. I'm just like, hey, let's go, let's go. And he got very upset. I hurt his feelings. And I was like, you're just being too sensitive. Relax. I'm sarcastic. I am aggressive. I am out. I am really take charge when I'm working, especially. And I said to him, stop being so sensitive. It's not about anything here. It's just the job. Let's go. We'll deal with it later. And he did not like that. That didn't go over well.
Oh. Okay,
have you had that situation?
I have not told someone they're being too sensitive. Nor has anyone told me that either. But it takes a lot for me to get to that point. But no, I have not had that. I have not had that situation.
Right. So let's see. All right, let's see the next one. Yeah. I've said this one.
Then if you said it, I probably have to. Let's see.
I feel so bad right now for everybody that I've ever said, yeah, whatever.
That's what it is? Yeah, whatever?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I said that like a million times. That's a good. Who doesn't say yeah, whatever?
I say it all the fucking time. Whatever.
Whatever. Oh, that's so bad now. Now I got it. Now I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, this one says people use that simple whatever often with a shrug to say, I'm done discussing this. True. It's an emotional. Oh, fuck. It's an emotionally immature method to shut down the path of communication and figuratively walking away from any further discussion. Now, I do have to say that's not what I meant it as.
Yeah. Like when I say it, I don't mean it like that. It's just like, okay, whatever.
Whatever.
Right. But now we know. We might want to.
I didn't know. I apologize in advance. I did not know that was an immature. It is an immature thing to say. It really is. I do know this.
Yeah, but
I guess I don't.
God, what would I don't know. That's a hard one for me not to say, but I will be more mindful.
I think that in the middle of maybe an argument with a significant other, I don't mean, like Guy just said, it's basically whatever is a fuck off, but I don't, for me, that's not what it is. Maybe it is for some. I really don't mean it. I think that at some point I've been in like fights with like a disagreement or argument with somebody, and it's gotten to the point that neither one of us are bending or compromising or listening or anything. And I know I have literally said, yeah, well, whatever. I can't deal with it anymore. Maybe we just go our separate ways, figure our own shit out, and maybe try to think about what the other person's thinking about and come back together. But I have said whatever.
Me too. Oh gosh.
Well, so I think it's also a slang.
So it is a slang. I would agree with that. It's a slang. But out of the list so far, we've only said one.
Yeah. Well,
you've used two.
I have been insensitive to sensitive people, but I will say that the reason I think I understand that whole thing with being, you're being too sensitive is because I have taken a moment and taken a step back and really thought, wait a minute, I like an emotionally sensitive guy, maybe not too sensitive to where like everything I says hurts him because I am highly sarcastic and whatever.
No, I understand that.
Okay, here's the next one. What are you talking about? I never said that. That's a no can do. Again, this one, gaslighting. People who want to rewrite history again, they will make themselves more important for others. When someone says something like this, they typically try to evade responsibility and make it think something else happened. Like it's also gaslighting. It's like, what are you talking about? I never said that.
Oh my God, that's such a pet peeve of mine. I've literally had conversations and I've had to say, you just said that. Like you literally just said, I heard you say what you just said. I didn't say that. No, maybe you heard me incorrectly. No, I heard you say what I'm saying. But that's a huge pet peeve of mine. Also narcissistic and gaslighting, 100%.
Yeah, it's 100% gaslighting. So, here's the next one. It's your problem, not mine. So
have you said that?
Never. I would never say that. It's your problem, not mine. Never.
That's so rude, first of all.
It's the worst fucking thing anybody can say. They get defensive. So it's people who are getting defensive in an argument. They maybe think they're being criticized. They want to try to guilt you. Yeah. That's the guilt you into feeling sorry for them. It's a real growing, problem. Even in a professional instance, if someone says it's not my problem, it's yours. I've heard that a lot in business where people say, well, it's not my issue, it's your issue. And it's like, no, dude, it is fucking your issue. If it's your business, you should have an issue with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna breeze through some of these because some of them are just basic. You're making such a big deal out of nothing. Have you ever had somebody say that to you, Jaida?
I don't think I have. Not that one.
That's dismissing someone's concerns and opinions. Yep. Belittling people's reactions. That's a shit thing to say.
Yeah.
What would you say about someone saying you're talking about the past?
Let me tell you that I've heard. I have to phrase myself correctly, because when I was married, one of the issues he had was cheating. But he would say, oh, "Are you still bringing that up? That happened in the past?" Oh, I don't know, because it happened 8 times. I mean,
well, if it's still happening, it's not very pasty, is it?
Right. But I've also had clients who have gone through relationships and been in relationships where they're either bringing up things from past, or the person is bringing up things from the past, and it's kind of like, why are you still talking about this?
Yeah,
I've heard that often. What about you?
Well, I think there's a fine line between somebody just fucking constantly bringing it up, and it's like, are you going to let it go? Are we going to move on? Have we addressed it? Obviously, we've not addressed it enough. So that's where someone has to stop and go, okay, you still have an issue here. Let's address it. Let's see if we can move past it, because it is something that is still current for you. Now, the opposite for me is that I've had people use things from my past against me as just things that I've done, like single. Like when I'm single, everybody knows who's listened to the show knows that I've gone to sex clubs, I party, I have a good time, I do stuff. I'm sexually inhibition. I have no inhibitions when it comes to sex. We talk about this. This is not a taboo thing for me. I've had exes bring up my past and throw it in my face.
Really? After you've shared with it, or have they asked you?
They'll ask me questions to get to know me. And I used to be trusting and say, yeah, here's my info. And then they're like, oh, you did this and you did that. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? No, that's not good.
I don't like that.
I don't either. It sucks. Here's one that I think is an interesting one. Because some people could be, and some people could be using as an excuse. I was just joking.
Oh gosh, that's the worst. Because you know what? But honestly, it's like some people really could have just been joking, but some people could feel uncomfortable by the response they got from that comment. That then they say, "Oh no, I wasn't serious. I was just kidding."
I think it also depends on what you're talking about with the person. If it is in a relationship and you're criticizing somebody and they want to then distance themselves from that criticism, they'd say, "Oh, I was just joking." I don't like that. Now, there's been a time or two that I will literally be kidding about something and I'll go, I'm kidding. I really do. I'm just kidding. And everybody knows I'm fucking joking.
But if you're having a serious conversation, and then the person doesn't respond the way that you want them to respond, you may say, "Okay, I was just kidding. I didn't really mean it. I was just joking."
Yeah.
No.
I think that's just a dangerous one to really hurt people's feelings and diminish how they feel and what they're, what you're joking about. If it's about their body or their emotional or mental stability or anything that they're really proud of or happy with, and you want to bring them down by saying things really shitty to them and then say, "I was joking." That's not joking. That's just being a total dick. Yeah. Here's the last two.
It's hurtful.
It is hurtful. Number 11, you always or you never. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, often use broad generalizations, like instead of engaging in constructive, honest conversation or using specific examples, they will issue an accusatory blanket statement and use that to avoid any further discussion. Like, oh, you always tell me I'm doing this, or you never do this for me. I think that's a really dangerous road to be on. What are your thoughts on people who do that type of thing, Jaida? Oh,
are you there?
yeah, we just had a little lag.
Yeah, it's storming. So sorry.
So if you had a lot of experience, Jaida, with people who say you always do this or you never do that.
No.
I think I've heard it quite a bit in life in general, like people in a relationship. I think a lot of women can say, you never touch me, or you always wait until we're just in bed and there's never any intimacy, or you're never romantic, or you always accuse me of being this way or that way, but you never have anything to back it up.
Or your phone is always off, or you always have your phone on D&D at night and I don't talk to you until the morning. I've heard clients say that before, but I haven't had that happen with me, no.
Well, I find it interesting with people who are attached to their phones.
Yep.
And then you send them a message and they've fucking seen it, but they don't respond. It's like leaving me on red is nothing but disaster. Oh, Anastasia says, but it can be so much, it seems like always. Yes, but you have to reevaluate what the always is. Is it really always? And is there a better way to phrase it? Like, there could be better ways. People get very defensive when words never and always are used.
Yep.
Okay, because those are very broad blanket statements.
That's what I was going to say. It's a very broad statement, and they don't sometimes know how to take it. They're not, it can be hurtful to them based off of the way your delivery is.
Right. I think that, if we take the time to sit down and before we have a conversation with somebody that's very important, maybe get our words down on paper. Write down what is always, what is never. Ask your Google, what words can we use in place of always and never? And what's the best way to approach it? You know what I mean? It's like, how can we approach this without hurting their feelings, but getting across to them that this is super important to me, that I am feeling like you're not particularly putting in the effort, or you're not particularly being kind to me when you are saying a lot of this to me. That is a lot easier for someone to take than saying, you're always telling me I'm an idiot, or instead of saying, quite a few times you have said things that have made me feel as if I am not intelligent enough for you, or that you don't think that I'm smart enough. And I just want to make sure, is that what you intended? How are you trying? You're not trying to make me feel that way, are you? Those kind of ways are ways to approach a conversation and a topic that is very sensitive and hard to handle with a lot of people. The last one is, but everyone does it. So let me read what they said about this. If there's one phrase that really sounds like a child said it, it's this one. How many of us have used, but all the kids are doing it, argument, trying usually in vain to get our parents to allow us to do something, but emotionally immature adults use it too. They'll pull out all the time-honored, everybody's doing it argument as a justification for something that they want to do or already have done. Of course, they're blameless if they've done something wrong. They really just want to go along with the crowd after all. Have you had those kind of situations, Jaida?
God, no.
Yes.
No grown adult has said to me, but everyone's doing it. No, I have not had this happen. I have not had that happen. Have you?
I'm
Yes.
trying to.
Children maybe.
Rebel has. Rebel has. Tell us, Rebel.
Oh my God. Every freaking time he wants to cut the freaking light. I hate driving with him. He wants to cut the light. So what does he do? He goes through the damn parking lot. That's illegal. And yet everybody does it.
But that everybody does is going to get y'all in an accident one of these times.
Yep.
You're not supposed to cut through a parking lot for no reason. You're supposed to pull into a parking lot to go to a business, not to cut through because you can't take a U-turn right here. So you have to go through a left turn. So you cut through the first parking lot. That's not the way it works.
I do agree with you there. I am guilty of doing it though. When I'm in
And
the
do you
corner,
say everybody does it?
no, because I don't give a shit if everybody does it. I just know that I'm doing it. It's illegal and I'm going to do it anyway. So sometimes I need to hurry and I need to take a right-hand turn and the fools up front are not turning. And there's not a no turn on red. Okay. So they're not turning and I will pull into a gas station and go around and over and out the other side.
I'm not surprised, honestly.
No meaning. Well, everybody does it.
Everybody does it. But
No,
you know what?
I don't.
In LA, everybody probably does it.
Oh,
Everybody
in LA,
does.
everybody does. But I don't always do it because I do know it's dangerous or it's rude, or sometimes if I just patient long enough, the person will turn. But whatever.
Well, that was quite the list. And see, we only had a couple
like
of them that we've done. Yeah.
Well,
spot
I
on
think
too with their responses.
I think it's important to talk about sometimes what are some of the things people are like, oh, red flags, red flags. People talk about red flags, but they don't talk about what those red flags could actually be and what do they mean. If there are red flags out there that y'all are having or seeing and you want help, just reach out to us. You're welcome to call into the show. You're welcome to email us at 50 shades of bullshit. That's SHYT @gmail.com. You never know. You might have something you're struggling with and you need advice. We will be happy to
try to
help.
help.
Exactly.
We had a lot of interaction today, a lot of comments today.
Well, next week we're having Michelle from Unstuck back. I'm so excited. She's going to talk to us about dating while healing. That should be fun. I don't have anybody for the first Thursday in March. It's my birthday.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
I know. But the second one is I'm bringing in the guy from Canada. His name is Jacob, and he is a early 40s guy who dates 10, 15, 20 years older than himself. And he has a whole thing that he calls Cougar Crusade. And it's about guys who go after and date older, mature women. And he talks about why and why it's good and why it's good for younger men. And he's fucking hot as hell. So that will be. I've been following him for years on TikTok and Instagram. So I'm gonna be blushing a lot.
You probably will.
Because he's fine.
Well, time goes by so fast.
I know. It's crazy. There's some ideas of some episodes I want to go over with you. That'll be fun. Maybe we can change it up a little, have a good time.
Switch it up. This was fun.
This was a good episode.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody? Let's see. What do we have? We have like 30 seconds left. So I'm going to be on hey, Rebel. What's Dean's show again?
The Adventures of Pipe Man.
Oh, The Adventures of Pipe Man. I'm going to be on his show on Monday talking about some dating shit that he wants to talk to me about. So I'll be there.
Okay.
It should be fun.
fun.
So lots of fun. Well, I'm interested to hear next week what you think of the newest episode of The Bachelor. I can't wait for The Bachelor in Paradise. Like, why wasn't there one in between? There's typically one in between each bachelorette and bachelor. So I don't know where it is. Maybe I'm not seeing it yet. But I can't wait. Well, we're out of time. That went fast. I know. Out of time, out of mind. Well, thank you everybody for coming back. I really appreciate all the comments this week. We see Guy has come and said a whole lot. So thank you, Guy.
Thank you, Guy, for all the participation.
Right. Same time, same place next week. And until then, let's keep this shit real.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share with your friends, like and follow us on Instagram at 50 Shades of _bullshit and Facebook at 50 Shades of Bullshit. Thanks so much for listening, and we really hope to see you again next week.